Hey everybody, how's it going? Glad to have you here. Today we are going to talk about how I'm paying for my Lexus IS350 F Sport. If you saw my previous video, you know what my payment is. So if you want to know how I'm actually making money while paying down this car, stick around to the end of the video. Let's get started. Okay, so usually I would pay down my cars pretty fast. The Corolla that you've seen on the channel, I paid it down in a month. I didn't pay it down cash at the dealership because that's not a way to get a good deal. There's tons of video about it, and I may do a video about that in the future. But when it comes to this car, I decided that I was going to take a different approach. See, I got this car with 2.99, well, basically 3% APR on the loan, which is pretty low for today's circumstances. Usually loans nowadays go from 5% and higher. Usually what I recommend when you're going to get a car is that you have 20% down payment. That's the best way to never be underwater when getting a car, which in the case of this car, 20% would have been around $12,000. So I didn't have $12,000. I actually had $40,000. Now I could have put a big chunk of money down and my payment would be super low, and I'll probably be done with paying this car maybe by the middle of next year. But since the loan is at 3% and my savings account is at 4%, so that is why I decided to, instead of putting a chunk of money down in the car and having it in something that depreciates, I'd rather have it in my savings account where it's actually earning interest. So instead of paying it fast and just to try to avoid paying as much interest as possible, what I am doing is going all the way till the end of the loan, which is 48 months, 4 years from now. Now I understand it may not make a lot of sense because the difference is only 1%. It's like how much are you actually making? So let's go to the calculator and I'll explain a little bit better what I mean. Okay, here we are in our favorite tool, the calculator. I've used this always to calculate payments. I have a video on that, link in the description down below if you want to take a look at it. But for now, let's just input the number so you can see. So this is the price that I pay for the car. This is the loan term. Over here is title, doc fee, registration, all that stuff, and sales tax in Texas 625. So if we calculate it, this is close to the payment that I had right now. Again, link in the description if you want to see about that payment. But in the end, if I go all the way to the end of the loan, I'll be paying $3,738 with 32 cents. Now, if we go to the APY calculator, which lets you like at least estimate how much you're going to earn in interest depending on your initial deposit and your regular deposits. Now, we're going to do 30,000 as the initial deposit because I put down 2,500 as a down payment. Like, I never buy a car with no money down. And then if you saw my other videos, you'll see that I deposited $7,000 already into the account because I wanted to test something. So the interest rate that I got was 4.25, and it's an APY, it's not nominal. And for the amount of years, it's going to be 48 months, so it's 4 years. I have calculated, even if I'm paying for the monthly car payments, I will still deposit $1,000 on my savings account. So if I calculate that, you see that in 4 years, so by the end that I'm paying down this car, I would have earned a total in interest of $9,570. Basically, I am giving up $3,738 to earn a little bit over $5,000. I think that's pretty good ROI, return on investment. And by the end of the investment, I will have almost as much to buy a new LC500 if those exist by this time. So, as you saw, it is making money. I could have the money in the car, and this is a Lexus. Lexus usually keep their value pretty well, but why have it in the car? Cars go down in value. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have. Even if a Lexus will go down in value, it's just better to have that in a high yield savings account. So as I mentioned before, maybe that interest is not going to be there for the 4 years, because it has to do with how the economy is doing, how the Fed adds or cut rates. A lot of people are saying that the Feds will cut rates even further, which will reduce the amount of interest that I'm getting from my savings account. I personally don't see that happening, because cutting rates will lead to even bigger inflation that we already have. It's a whole separate subject, but I believe it will probably maintain at least for 3 years. So this works because I was able to save quite a bit of money to pay for this car, and I can also do the monthly payments without actually touching the savings account. This won't make any sense if you have to pull money out of the savings account to pay for the car. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you have another strategy that will make you even more money, or would just rather just throw all the money at the car. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit like, it really helps at the channel, especially one as small as mine. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.